Hello, everyone. I'm Mark Doubleday, and welcome to HolisticNaturopathic.com livecast. Today, we're very pleased and privileged to be speaking with Abby Brown from Marine, Minnesota. Abby is a wife, a mother, a teacher, and an author and a breast cancer survivor who shared her experience about her battle with breast cancer in her new book, which is titled, "What About the Hair Down There?" Hello, Abby. Welcome to HolisticNaturopathic.com livecast. Thank you for taking some time out today to talk to us. It's really a pleasure having you here.
Thanks so much. I appreciate the invitation.
Well, first, Abby, we want to ask, how are you? How are you doing with your recovery?
I am doing well, and people say I'm looking great, which is always a good sign. You don't feel so great while you're going through it, but when I had my last mammogram a year after I was diagnosed, everything looked clear, and I'm still having some infusions every 3 months, or every 3 weeks, also taking a little pill, but really starting to feel better.
Wow, that's great. That's awesome. Can you share with us a little bit about how the idea for your book came about?
I started writing on a site called CaringBridge, and CaringBridge is based out of Minneapolis, but now it serves millions of people, and it's a site where patients and families will go to let others know what's going on at the moment with their health, and it's a way to get the information out factually and without people calling because they feel like they don't want to bother you. So I started doing that, and as I continued to write through the months, after my first chemo, I had my appendix out, and then little silly things like that started happening. And because I teach writing and I've always loved it, I used some of the style that I teach kids, and people started to comment, You're so uplifting. I love reading what you're reading. I'm the one that feels good when I'm done, and you're the one that's sick." And so that encouragement led me to really consider it.
Wow, that's fantastic. I understand that you timed your book release to coincide with your birthday. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. It turned out as I was starting to search for a publisher that one of my students from my first year here at Marine School 26 years ago, Kent Gustafson with bloomingtwig.com, he contacted me and said, this is the kind of thing I do. I'd love to help you with it. And he also said that when we release these things, the Kindle was released last week, March 28th, on my 55th birthday, we want to have it be on a special day, something that is significant. And that felt great. It felt great to be able to release something like this when last year I had a little celebration and party with family and friends just to celebrate life and was learning to tie new scarves around my then bald head. So
Wow.
That's why that date was chosen.
Well, that's great. That's great. So, Abby, what motivated you to tell such a personal story? I know this is a big thing, and a lot of people want to keep these things private.
I've got a sister who's really funny all the time and pretty much tells it as it is, and I've grown up that way of sometimes even getting into trouble for saying what everybody else is thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't embarrassed about it. I teach health in Phi-Ed, and that's part of my undergrad and elementary education. So I just was being open and honest and trying to throw in a little humor because you have to laugh a little bit through some of this. You can't be so down. And it's part of my faith base. I grew up what I call gentle Lutheran because Lutherans don't usually turn away from their religion for a while, where I've heard stories of those poor Catholics, they have to come back with their own free will. But it was just other people saying, really, you have a message to share, you've written it well. Publish it. So that's why I did that.
Well, we're really happy that you have. So what's the response been from your family and friends?
Well, everybody's been great about it. We did a gift giveaway, it was called, last weekend in honor of my birthday through Kindle, so people could download it for free. And there were 1,292 downloads that people took advantage of from that Kindle of the book. So the support and passing the word around and saying, you should read this, this is someone I know, and eventually it gets further and further down the line, and that's what I'm hoping. That was the whole intent of the book.
Right.
to help others. And when it was all said and done, and the news started to hit, the Pioneer Press article came out. My husband came. We finally had some time together, driving and reflecting, and he said, "You know, I was real emotional last week. It was the first time he really let me know that he too sheds tears, and had shed tears, but had to put on kind of that tough front." And he said, "I'm just really proud of you, and if this good can come out of it all, then, you know, I guess it's okay." You can't say that it was worth it, because it's not. You know, you can't say that it was worth it to have a book. There was no intention of a book ever in the beginning of it all. But if good can come out of it, and it can inspire people and just help them feel better and make them laugh during this challenge of treatment. And I say I'm a treatment survivor. I'm not a cancer survivor, because I had a lumpectomy, and that lump was gone last year in January, a whole year ago. To me, the cancer was gone. But you don't know how small those cells are and where else they could be lurking. And so my type of cancer needed a pretty rigorous approach. And so we did the chemotherapy and radiation.
Yeah, and I know from our own experience at home with my girlfriend's situation that we experienced a very similar thing. It's very traumatic, and it's great to have the support and from the family and friends. So what about other survivors, cancer patients? What kind of feedback have you gotten from any of them, if you've had any?
Well, one of the things that I did is I started my own little breast cancers bitchin' club, and they were a group of friends that I had and anybody who qualifies, you know, and you don't want to qualify, can be a part of it. Those friends were extremely supportive toward me when I needed them, and if I called and said or sent an email, "Let's meet at, you know, the coffee shop at 4 o'clock," they were there for me. So I want to do that same thing for others. And anytime you hear of someone that has cancer, you get it, and you kind of are a part of this instant club. And it isn't just breast cancer. It also can be any kind of cancer that involves a chemo treatment and transfusions, and it's just a really tough thing. So I try to be positive and try to be uplifting. I try to share that faith that I have with them. And hopefully, you know, people can recognize that when they read through the book and see how I dealt with it emotionally.
Oh, that's great. You know, what ways have your lifestyle habits changed, you know, as a result of the treatment, or have they?
Well, when I grew up, or when I went to college, I was very interested in nutrition and health, and I got into fitness, and I really strongly believe in wellness. So it's always been a part of my life, the social, emotional, physical, spiritual, all of those components of wellness I understand. So I haven't changed my lifestyle so much, and in fact, you know, it's almost a surprise when you get cancer, because I wasn't a smoker. I didn't do anything that really caused this to happen. It wasn't even genetic. So my lifestyle is now to get back into the shape I was in before, to continue to eat well, just do the things that you know you need to do to take care of your whole being, not just one part of it, and not feel guilty about the fact that the cancer happened to me, because I really didn't feel like I did anything to deserve it, and so I don't take that personally, and that's also my faith. You know, that's that spiritual part of my being that helps.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You know, has this changed the way that you counsel or speak to family and friends about their physical concerns or any challenges they might be facing?
You know, you always encourage that people would go to the doctor and take care of things when you're not feeling quite right. And now that I'm moving into a healthier stage, I don't walk down the street and it's obvious. When I would wrap my head in a scarf and you don't have eyebrows, and you know, people then know that you're going through something big. And as people recover from these kinds of things and their hair grows back and they continue with their life, you have no idea how many are out there that have also endured the same kind of experience. So, you know, no one really comes up and asks you about it, but if they do, I'm very open, and I am very willing to talk.
That's great. You know, what kind of plans have you set for the future after having gone through this experience?
Well, the book's been what I call the true journey and adventure. I call the whole experience a bumpy road trip. So now I'm really on a journey. Now I'm on an adventure, and it's been very heartwarming and fun. And I look forward to even this opportunity to be able to talk to people about it, to know that others are interested, and that people that you don't know care. You know, that makes me feel good about others in this world. I someday would love to maybe go out and be speaking to groups that are dealing with the breast cancer issues or conferences. But for now, I love my teaching job. I need to keep teaching. It's my day job. It pays the bills. We have 2 sons that need to go to school when they graduate from high school. We were older when they were adopted, so we have tuitions to pay for. But you know, retirement's kind of coming down the line, so it's fun to think that there's still more to do. And there is, you know.
Yeah,
I'm not retiring. I'm going to retire from the classroom and do something else.
that's great. So you're definitely going to keep teaching.
Yeah, I'm going to keep teaching. I took off last year. I did end up taking off the rest of the school year after my appendectomy. Once that occurred after my first chemo, I realized I can't do it. I'm not super person. I was expecting to go back on that following Monday part-time, and I disappointed myself. I knew I was disappointing the children. So I had all of last year off, and that allowed me the time to write and reflect. It was really good for recovery. And anytime I pushed too much, even with my social birthday party, I was exhausted. You just don't realize how taxing it is when your body's been infused with something that's meant to kill off just about everything. So I love my job, and I'm getting my energy back, and I want to continue doing this. I don't see why I shouldn't. You know, unless something, and you never know, you got to take it one day at a time. That was my mantra the whole journey, or the whole road trip. You never know what can come your way and how things can change. And again, a year ago or even 6 months ago, I would have never thought I'd be sitting here with a published book out there for people to read and enjoy. So,
well, we're glad you're here. So, any major long-term plans coming up for Abby and in your family? Have you kind of set any course?
No, you know, there's one thing that I want to do, and that is to go to Ecuador, to Quito, where my niece is teaching right now on a 2-year stint down there, but and take the family, because we cared for a young girl from Ecuador. She's a black Ecuadorian. She lived with us before our boys came along for 8 years, and now that my niece is there and my sister and brother-in-law have been there, I would love to take my boys and do some world traveling, and that would be one place to go. We've never really done that. So that would be some big plan. Other than that, I really do just take it one day at a time. You know, my new mantra as I move on is nothing matters more than this day.
Right. That's awesome. That's a great attitude to have. You know, finally, so maybe here get close to wrapping up. Do you have any advice that you'd give someone who's just been diagnosed or who's going through a traumatic physical challenge that that can be pretty overwhelming?
You know, one of the things that, even though I wrote some funny stuff and the title's real funny and it makes the book really obviously PG-13, so it's not going to be sitting around in my elementary classrooms, you cry. You have to cry. You need to let the emotions come, and you have to, I say big girls do cry, but then they get over it and they move on. And families need to, and the guys need to, and the spouses need to. You have to recognize that it's hard, but take a deep breath and just know that we're here on earth to grow and learn and become better, stronger people in whatever way that is for you, spiritually or whatever other way. And nobody goes without challenges in life, nobody. So take a deep breath, let the emotions out, and let's just move forward and still be positive and do the best we can for the world we live in. That's what I would say.
Well, that's a great message, and I'm really, really pleased to have the pleasure to sit down with you today. You know, for our audience out there, if you would like to reach Abby or you have any questions on how to do that, or maybe get in touch with her about her experience and the book that she's just had published, you can reach her at browna@frontier.net, and that's BROWNA at Frontier.
No dot there. FrontierNet.net.
FrontierNet.net. Okay, I got it wrong. Thank you for fixing that. So that's browna@frontiernet.net.
Correct.
Check my notes more carefully. Okay. You know, if you'd like to learn more about Abby, like I said, we just gave you an email access to get to her, and we encourage you to get a copy of her new book. Go to the link on Amazon and get it today. And I think we might have a link up there for that so that you can see there may be a cover per book. This is a fantastic opportunity to share with family who's gone through the same type of thing that Abby has had to go through, and I know that we've all been touched by it. I think there's not a person out there that hasn't been touched by this. I know in my family, in my life, I have just in the last year ourselves, and it's a very, very challenging thing, and it's a great thing to it pulls people together, gives you a way to strengthen yourselves, and really find out what's the most important stuff in life, and that's sharing and taking care of each other. Abby, you're a strong woman, and you've got a really powerful story, and it's a great contribution that you've done by writing your book and giving men and women all over the opportunity to come to grips with this and find a way through it. And I really want to thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity again too.
Well, we're really grateful for you sharing your story with us and with the world, actually, because this is going to be going out several different channels. You know, I want to again thank you for taking the time out. It takes a little effort to get this together, but we really appreciate you taking the time and sharing with us today. And I'm really grateful to have met you, and I'm definitely going to keep in touch.
Thank you.
And we wish you and your family the best of luck and hope for a bright future for you. That's for sure.
Thanks so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. If you'd like to be a part of our community, you can text hashtag D-Day plus your email to 58885, and you'll be given access to this interview and access to some other previous episodes at holisticnaturopathic.com. And if I want to make the offer out there for anybody that's interested, if you'd like to be a guest on this show for holistic naturopathic or alternative and medical practitioners, or if you've gone through a similar situation in your life, a challenge like Abby's gone through, and you have a story you'd like to tell and share with us, we'd like to hear from you. And you can reach me at my email at mark@holisticnaturopathic.com, and that's spelled HOLISTICNaturopathic. That's holisticnaturopathic.com. I know it's a mouthful, but it's going to be a big name for folks out there, and we're going to have a lot of access to a lot of information and more interviews with ladies like Abby, and hopefully we're going to have some really good practitioners on here to help teach us how to make our lives healthier and give us better health choices. Abby, thank you again for being with us today. It's really awesome, your story. Definitely going to be promoting you out there to people, and I'm going to be linking all my friends and family and some of my other circles out there to make sure that they get in touch with you. And again, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all, and I think that'll be enough for today. And bye-bye, everybody.